All right, thank you so much, Steph. Acknowledging a dark chapter in Canada's history. Flags lowered across the country to mourn the loss of 215 children whose remains found at a former residential school in Kamloops, BC. Prime Minister Trudeau making that announcement yesterday that the flags would be lowered for 215 hours or 9 days to represent each child lost. The shocking discovery of the remains announced Thursday. The Indigenous community heartbroken, saying they need help to heal from this immeasurable loss.
We're still in the 4 days of mourning for a lot of Indigenous families, so we don't need to see action tomorrow. We need to see support.
There are numerous calls to investigate all former residential schools for similar grave sites yet to be uncovered. The Kamloops school, mostly run by the Catholic Church, was at one point the largest in Canada's residential school system. And here at home, hundreds gathering at Nathan Phillips Square offering their support. The vigil, marked with traditional dance and song, organized to acknowledge this tragedy and to also provide spiritual healing for the victims and the community. The Toronto sign will be dimmed to remember the children and survivors of the Kamloops residential school.
We need to recognize that this is an issue that needs to be really acknowledged and not just written down on paper.
And we want to honor their families, and we want to be able to bring those children home again, because in a spiritual way, they don't go home unless, we honor them and acknowledge them.
Mayor John Tory also issuing a statement saying, in part, this is a heartbreaking reminder of the terrible and shameful legacy of the residential schools and the thousands of innocent children who died. And we are standing by live right now at Queen's Park. You can see here dozens of children's shoes have been laid here to mark the lives lost in this tragedy. Similar memorials have been set up across the country. People are also being encouraged to wear orange today to honor the children who died in the residential school system. And we have so much more coverage on this coming up through the hours ahead here on Breakfast Television, so do stay with us. Right now, we turn our attention to COVID-19, and it's another milestone in the fight. The province is now beginning to roll out second doses. So starting today, anyone 80 and older can begin registering for a second dose, for many earlier than previously scheduled. And it comes as the province says 65% of Ontarians have now received at least one shot ahead of schedule, meaning many of us could have that two-dose summer. Health officials say everyone 70 and older will be in line next, and then residents will be eligible based on when they received their first shot. Meantime, Toronto vaccination efforts making some big strides this weekend. The city saying more than 50% of teenagers between 16 and 19 have now received a first dose. Chief Matthew Pegg, who's the general manager of emergency for the city, will be joining us live with the latest on Toronto's vaccination plan, and that is coming up just after 7 o'clock. So we now know who will be replacing the province's top doctor in less than a month's time. Dr. David Williams will be replaced by Dr. Kieran Moore. The province expected to table that motion today at Queen's Park. Currently, Dr. Moore is the top doctor in the Kingston area public health unit and a member of the vaccine distribution task force. He's going to be taking over June 26th. Now, Dr. Williams originally planned to retire in February after remaining at the post since 2016, but the Ford government asked him to stay on that position until September. The province says Dr. Moore will be working with Dr. Williams on June the 7th to make sure it is a smooth transition. All right, this is it. Do or die for the Maple Leafs in a winner-take-all game against the Canadians, and we are live right now outside Scotiabank Arena. It is, yes, Game 7, but it'll be an empty house despite calls from Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown to allow fully vaccinated frontline workers to attend. It comes after 2,500 fans attending Saturday night's game in Montreal. Puck drop, by the way, 7 o'clock tonight, which you can watch on Sportsnet, and the winner of the series takes on the Jets in the North Division Final, which starts on Wednesday. So we have a lot more to come on this, so stay tuned. Sid's got to break it down for you. Meantime, Canada could see a Stanley Cup game featuring a U.S. team on this side of the border. Sources say work is underway for a travel exemption that would let the winner of the All-Canadian division and an American counterpart cross the border during the third and final rounds of the playoffs. The teams would not have to self-isolate for 14 days. The NHL says it is working to secure approval from public health leaders in the provinces that still have teams in the playoffs. All right, still to come here on BT. Is your boss calling you back to the office, and do you want to go? Following a new survey showing how many Canadians want to keep working from home. Mike Epple, he's back in the office, his home office. We'll check in with him next.